Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Claws Connect. I am Shawn White, and I'm going to wait for a few comments and people to get on here. I am so happy to be here tonight. We've got a great guest coming on. A little slow for there we go. Hello, Patrick. We're going to let some of the guests join us on here before I start. Hello, John. This is episode 13. 13 already. Wow. It's always Santa George is the name of the show tonight. And there's a reason, and he's going to tell us all about that. I thought it was a very clever title for this show. He's a really good guy, very interesting. Hello, Oliver. Thank you for joining us. We're going to give it just a little bit more time. So I am Shawn White. This is the Claws Connect. And we've got some big news on the Claws Connect. We've made it to 1,000 members, which is pretty exciting. We're going to hope to keep growing. Hi, Everett. So we can do more with it. Lots of big plans in the future. So the bigger, the better. And there's people from all over the world, so that's really exciting to see it, watch it growing, and then it's just going everywhere, which is super fun. So, okay, we will get going here. So, Santa George, I met him at Charles Howard in Midland, Michigan a couple years ago. And great guy, easy to talk to. Started talking to him more, and I'm going to go into that shortly here about how I met him. I'll wait for him to be on here. His wife is wonderful also, very sweet lady. And she plays Mrs. Claus, so very, very soft and gentle and wonderful lady. So with that, I'm going to have, Angela's going to run some pictures of George, and then I will talk a bit, and then we'll get him on here and do some introductions. So go ahead. Now, that is a man that loves his family, and I love his family just from what I've heard him, the way he talks about them, and all these grandchildren. Oh my goodness, he's a good dad, good grandpa. I cannot say enough about, and the pictures show that clearly, clearly. So, real quick, let's say hello to Troy. Hello, Shannon. Thank you for joining us. And Dana, I see that you're on here also. Thanks, you guys, for being here tonight. Um, okay, Patrick says that Santa George is awesome. He has yet to meet him in person. Oh, wait until you do, Patrick. He's a good guy. You will not forget the time you meet with him. Hello, Bubba. Hello, Terry. My stay bearded friend is here in the house. Very awesome. So with that, wonderful introduction, beautiful pictures, beautiful family. I would like to introduce Santa George to everyone. Hello, thank you for being on the show tonight.
Hello, Sean. Thank you for allowing us to share with your guest and the Claus family tonight.
Yeah, I am so happy you're here. And I really do mean it. When you look at those pictures, you can see love. There's nothing, no other way to describe that and everything you do. Um, it's amazing. So, with that, would you introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you.
Absolutely. So, my born name is George Lamont Smithers, but I am better known to the world now as Santa George. So, it's been quite a journey to be Santa. It started out all about family. Um, so that's how we embody the spirit of Santa is through faith, family, and tradition. So it's about our faith, it's about our family, it's about our tradition, and everything. And I mean everything that my wife and I do um, actually involves or springboards off what we do as a family, what we have done that has been passed down from our grandparents, our parents, down on to us, and we're passing it on to our children and our grandchildren. And there's just nothing else I would rather do than be a dad. So I'm a dad of four. So two boys, two girls. I'm a grandpa of eight. So we call them our grand elves. And it's really sweet because they call me Papa Santa. So it's just I would not trade it for anything in the world. We spend a lot of time together. I'm also number 9 of 10. So I have 9 brothers and sisters. 2 of them have passed away, unfortunately, but the rest of us are still alive, and we've always spent a lot of time together, even as family. So we get together as an extended family, brothers, sisters, sister-in-laws, brother-in-laws, nieces, nephews, great nieces, great nephews. I even have a couple of great greats now. So yeah, we spend a lot of time together.
Yeah, you talk about being blessed. My goodness. Tell me about your background. I know you're educated. Tell us about that.
So my background is education. I don't know if folks know that. So I have a degree in education with a dual certification for regular ed and special ed. And I spent a lot of time with children with disabilities, specifically those who have autism. So I have an extensive background in children who have autism and have worked with them for a number of years inside the school setting and outside the school setting as a respite provider. So I absolutely love that population. They're so sweet, they're so loving, they're so kind. And then once they get to know you, you get to know them, you all just have a ball. So I just love it.
Yeah, I so fortunate to have you as the teacher in there with them. I can't even imagine. Um, so I want to do a real quick little how I met you, and I told you I was going to do this. So at Charles Howard, I had the honor of being a captain of a bus, and this was a couple years ago. Um, so I took it upon myself to have the coolest bus, and I wanted to have the party bus. And so I stood outside of the bus and I waved people in, please come on the party bus. And you and your wife got on my party bus and actually sat right behind me. And part of what we were doing is trying to entertain each other for our little ride to Frankenmuth. So we'd go around the bus and we were either singing together or doing something to entertain. And then I'm not sure how this came about, but I had talked to you and Brenda, standing up, turned around, talking, and I don't know if you volunteered to do this or I asked you to read The Night Before Christmas. George,
Yes.
you did it, and you didn't even have a book, and you did every word, and the bus was quiet. I was so amazed, and I still am because I could never do that. You've got a talent for
How
this.
that came about, I've always been kind of a storyteller. As you know, I don't meet strangers, so I meet and talk to everyone. So that has been a blessing for me, even as Santa, because I'm not shy. So I belong to the Bluegrass Santas, or it's now the Bluegrass Santa Performers, which is part of iBurbs. It's the local group here. And I remember the second or third meeting that I went to, the leader of the group said, "Do you all know The Night Before Christmas?" And he said, "If you don't know The Night Before Christmas, then you can't say you're a real Santa." Okay. So you cannot challenge Santa George. For the next 3 or 4 weeks, I worked on learning that poem back and forth. And then once I had it, then I started using it at my events. I started, reciting it at my events. And then that's I hopefully we'll get to this later on tonight, but that's how one of my books that I have written was developed, because I got tired of telling someone else's story. I wanted to tell my own. So then I wrote my own story and can recite that as well. So
you didn't just recite it either. It was magical because we were all like turned into what I always say is our 5-year-old selves. Everybody on that bus was like, "Oh my gosh, this is amazing." And we were witnessing this. So I'll never forget that. It was very cool.
We love it. So so if you don't mind, I'll just do a stanza or two of it so folks can see the magic of it. So it begins like this. "It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not one creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, with hopes that I, St. Nicholas, would soon be there. The children all nestled all snug in their beds, with visions of sugar cookies dancing in their heads. Ma in her kerchief and Pa in his cap, they had both settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, Pop sprung from the bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window he flew like a flash. He tore open the shutter and threw up the sash." So that's just a little bit of how we do it.
Very amazing. You're so amazing. So let's see I always do that. And then when I had Joel Lagrone on here, he played guitar and I was like, I don't know what to say now. I think the next thing I was thinking that we could get into is, and it would be a good lead in, is your books right now that you have. Can you tell us about your books?
Yeah, so I would go to, but let me back up a little bit. So my wife and I are photographers by profession. So we also own a photo studio. So we started doing private shootings for Santa inside our studio. And then we linked up with a local museum who said, "Look, come and have your events here at the museum." So they got really big. So one of the things we started doing was storytelling. So I started developing stories. So we initially started out with The Night Before Christmas. Then I went into this new version of The Night Before Christmas. It's called The Night Before Christmas 2020. So it's a spin off of The Night Before Christmas. It happens at the North Pole during COVID. So the way the storyline works is COVID hit the North Pole and all of the famous reindeer became ill. And Santa wasn't sure how he was going to get that sleigh off the ground. But his grand elves, Elfie, Peanut, Sammy, Maya, Callie, Veve, Pepe, and Layden load up the sleigh, make the toys, get everything ready for Santa to go. And then I don't have any reindeer. So this ragtag bunch of reindeer, unfamiliar by anyone's name, comes and says, Santa will take you. So then there's Buffy and Bootsy and 8 Ball and Snoop, and right beside them was Nova and Coop. And rounding it out with Sugar and Cream, believe it or not, this was Santa George's A-Team. So we take and deliver the presents in one single night, and that's kind of the gist of the story.
Nice.
So that's one. And then the other one is called He's Brown, and this is such a darling story. So by happenstance, in 2018, I was in a strip mall in Louisville, Kentucky, and there was a daycare upstairs. And this mom comes through. I see the mom when she comes in. She didn't have a child. She goes upstairs. I was unaware that there was a daycare up there until she came back down the steps. So when she came back down the elevator and stepped off the steps, her daughter is dragging her to the Santa set, just screaming, Santa, Santa, Santa. So I meet her, and then we developed this wonderful relationship. And in 2020, during COVID, I got a call from the local news to do an interview with myself and Layla, who the book's about. And during the interview, she says, he's my favorite Santa. And they said, well, why is he your favorite Santa? She said, because he's brown. So the book is entitled He's Brown, and it's from the interview. So it's kind of our story of how we met and developed this wonderful relationship. And she'll be 11 this year, and she's seen me every year since she was about 3.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing. So these books are published. Tell us about what's going on with the books.
Okay, so the books, yes. So the books will be actually releasing tomorrow, July the 15th on Amazon.
Okay.
You'll be able to find them there. I would say to you, don't purchase them just yet, because I want to personally sign a bunch of them for you guys. So if you guys will contact me, either via my Facebook page and say, hey, Santa George, I'd like to get one of your books or whatever, then we can link up. And I'm actually going to have them on sale initially. So they'll be $20 a piece. But for the first 2 weeks, I'm going to give you both of them for $30. You won't be able to get that deal from Amazon. You'd only be able to get that from me. So if you, for the first couple of weeks, if you'll do that, and let me give you some personal signings, and I think you will be glad that you contacted us and allowed us to get the books. But if you don't want to wait, you can go on to Amazon and just look up He's Brown or The Night Before Christmas at the North Pole 2020, and then just use my name. It should come up, and you'll be able to purchase them there.
So there's a page on Facebook for the books, isn't there?
Something? Yes. So I have a book club that I started. It's called the Santa George and Friends Book Club. That's on Facebook. You can follow us there and see all the wonderful things that we're doing, because here's what I did that's unique, Sean, about the books that I do. Everything is based off of our family. So, for example, I have one called Mrs. Claus's Sweet Potato Pie. And then I have one that's called Mrs. Claus's Sweet Potato Pie, the recipe. Now, those aren't quite ready. We might be able to get one of them out before the year's up. But at any rate, so these are, the pie is what my wife makes for us here at home at Christmas time, and they're absolutely delicious. So in the one where it says the recipe, it's kind of a rhyming way that you can make the pie. And at the end, there's the recipe. But if you follow the rhyme, when you're done with the rhyme, you'll have the pie that she makes for her family.
Oh, wow.
Then we have another one called The Case of the Curious Elf, which is actually about my youngest son, who was very curious when he was little. And as parents, of course, we thought he was just being mischievous. So this book is about how he learns, right? So he explores, he climbs on stuff, he gets in drawers, he takes stuff apart, but that's how he's actually learning. So that's a book about him. So we have one for just about every grandchild, just based off of their character.
Nice.
Child that we have. So yeah, it's going to be really neat. So everything that we're going to do with our books is actually going to be personal.
Okay. So maybe when we go to break in about 10 minutes, that in the chat, you could just put your name of your page or something.
Sure.
Somehow to get them directed to you. And then after the show, I will make sure to post something so they can find you too. We'll put it on the Claus Connect and with your books, or tomorrow, if you want to get it to me or whatever, we'll post something so that everybody can find them. Definitely. So Okay, I get too much into this, and then so yeah, we didn't have the pre-order link on here, did we? Did we put that
No,
on?
so no, because Amazon doesn't allow you to pre-order. It's
Okay.
kind of they do a release date and then they're available. So they'll be available tomorrow. I think tonight at midnight, actually, they'll be
Okay.
available.
Okay. Mike put something on there, Facebook share. I don't know what that means. Um, explain, Mike. Hello, Don. He's got a comment on here. This comment does not need to be shared, but may I express one of my beliefs? Okay, we'll read that later. Hello, Kane. Stopping by to see us. Bill. Hello, Bill. Elmer. Angela takes care of. It's wonderful having a producer, by the way. I can't even say enough. She keeps me in order. Charlie's here too. Okay, so I guess one of the things that I found fascinating was your Green Glove Society story. This really, I didn't know what to even, I was so pulled into this when you were telling me about it that, so please tell us. Can you share it?
I most certainly will. So, of course, my mom and my dad, I was really a very fortunate child. I had, both my parents were in the home. They both worked, had good jobs. So I had some experiences that possibly some other folks may not have had. With that being said, my parents were also very, very benevolent people. They always helped people all the time. I remember even in my teens, my parents took in a young girl who had gotten pregnant. Um, I think it was a single mom, didn't really want to be bothered with it. My mom and dad took her in. She had the baby. The child called my dad grandpa until the day he died. So they were very benevolent people. So anyway, long story short, my backstory of how I became Santa is from that benevolence that my family shared. So my backstory is that they're part of this Green Glove Santa Society, who are a group of benevolent people who go around helping those who need help. And out of the 10 children that my mother had, she looks at George and says, he has that benevolent spirit. He's caught on to the joy and the feeling of Christmas. So when we pass these gloves on, we're going to pass them on to him. So when it came time, they passed the gloves on to me. I put them on and I became Santa. So that's kind of my backstory. And I do have a story coming out about that too.
I love that. I love that. Just the connection that it makes, the history, there's tradition,
Yeah.
everything. It makes me even think that I need to think harder about mine. I mean, I always link it to my great grandmother. So much comes from that, but I don't have any actual, like you're linking it, which I really like that part of it. So thank you for sharing that. Okay, let's see. I guess talk about your childhood Christmas memories. You've got some.
Oh yeah.
Mom who loved Christmas.
Yeah, she really did, and I'm hoping I can get through this without being emotional because she's passed now. But I can remember how the house smelled, not just at Christmas time, any really any time of the year, but specifically during Christmas, how she would go to the local candy store and get the ribbon candy and the different kinds of candies that she would have placed around the house with the little doilies under the dishes. How she'd have the fruit bowl on the table, and she'd have the walnuts that you had to use the nutcracker to crack. And then the brother above me always had to put up the Christmas decorations outside. So he would, line the house with the lights, and when we turned the lights on, they would shine through our bedroom window. And I just remember how warm and how cozy it was. And I remember, Sean, one time I asked for a BB gun for Christmas, and my mom's like, "I don't know if we should get a BB gun or not," But anyway, long story short, woke up that Christmas morning and they made it happen. my parents made it happen. So we were able to get it, and just the love that we shared as a family, coming together at Christmas time. Even our grandparents and my great aunts and uncles, we would all come together for this huge family feast. And we just all just loved on each other and cared for, and to this, like I say, to this day, a lot of the greats greats are gone. But those of us that are left, we get together for those holidays, and they're still as special to us now as they were when we were kids.
So was your mom around to see you be Santa?
So it's funny because so let me tell you how I became Santa.
Okay.
So when my oldest two children, who are 17 months apart, were like 5 and 6 or 6 and 7, we took them to the local mall. I'm trying to make this quick because I know we gotta go to a break.
All right.
We took them to the local mall, and at that time there were no black Santas. So we wait in line 2 hours to get up there, put my daughter and son on his lap. My daughter starts crying. We make her take the picture anyway because we're parents and we want this picture, so we make her take it. So on the way out the mall, I say to my wife, we're not going to do this again. From now on, I'm going to be their Santa. Yeah. And that's kind of what sparked me being Santa. So let's fast forward to my mom. So out of all the years that I did it, I never dressed up for the whole family. So This one year, I dressed up for the whole family. I called my nieces, nephews, everybody. I said, hey, look, bring toys. I'm going to dress up as Santa. I'm going to give the kids a toy, and we'll take pictures with the whole family. So I'm taking pictures with my mom, who was 84 at the time. And Sean, I've seen my mom laugh, I know, 1,000,000 times, but never like this. So I look at her and say, Mom, what is wrong with you? And she says to me, I've never seen a black Santa before. And I know that she's seen it at least on TV, because I had seen them on TV, but she had never seen one in real life. And when she said that, that's what sparked me to start doing stuff in my studio. I said to my wife on the way home, we're going to make this guy public next year. And she said, who? I said, Santa. She said, oh, get out of here. And Christmas Eve that year, we had a line out the door. It was probably 8:00, and my wife was fussing and ramping and raving because she still had to cook family dinner. And she's like, I go home and cook, and we in here, we can't leave. The line's so long. So that's kind of how it started.
I love that so much. And I love that you just felt it and you did it. And that's what we should be doing in life. Don't second guess whatever's telling you. You got to do it. So did your mom, she had to have been just tickled about this.
Yeah. So the first season that I actually traveled, I went to Maryland, and I have a brother in Maryland. So he brought his family to the mall to see me. We was on the news practically everywhere. And when I got back, my mom was just tickled pink. She's like, oh, here comes Santa. She was tickled pink. So she did get to see me as Santa.
Yeah. My mom never got to see me perform, unfortunately. But my dad, he didn't know what to think when I was looking older than him in costume. I remember he just stared at me like, okay. And then I think he was secretly trying to be Santa because he started growing a beard. It was strange, but yeah, I made sure to take pictures with him when I was in costume. So I would always have those pictures, so, well, thank you for sharing that. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a break right now, and then we'll start fresh with another subject. So,
sure.
Okay. I'm someday going to get those boots. We'll see. um, okay, I think another story that I love that you tell is the feather story in your grandchildren. It just warms your heart listening to you talk about this. So would you tell us the story?
Sure. So I was in ISC 2022, I think it was, in Atlanta. Yeah, because they didn't have it in 20 because of COVID. So 2022, I attended my first ISC and I heard about this feather story. So I came home, and then my grandkids, I normally leave early November to go on tour. So they always think that I'm gone to the North Pole because I do Denver and Michigan and up north. So it's, sometimes I get there and it's like snow everywhere. So they think I'm in the North Pole getting ready to do Christmas, and I come home first thing Christmas morning. So they kept asking me about going to the North Pole. So I said, okay, so I tell you what I'll do. I said, Papa will take you to the North Pole. I said, but I got this magic feather. And if I drop the magic feather, you won't remember a thing. So sometimes when they're over and they're asleep, they'll get up in the morning. I'm like, did you enjoy the North Pole last night? Did you see Elf so-and-so and you all just had a good time? And they'll be like, no, I said, no, you need to go check your bed because I think you might find a feather in there. And they'll go in and look, say like, Papa, we told you not to drop the feather because we want to remember.
I love that.
So it's with those grandbabies, Sean, it is just amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Well, I remember how you said that because they miss you and they want to be with you and they don't quite understand, especially the young ones. And then the feather appears, so that it's just such a sweet story.
And then I remember one year. This had to be 2023. I had an opportunity to go to LA at a mall. And at this mall, there was a day that they bought in some company that actually put snow on top of the parking garage. So they had this great big slide where there was snow that they were making. It was snow everywhere. They had every toy under that tent you could imagine, from Power Wheels to bicycles to Ninja Turtles, action figures, Barbie dolls, you name it, they had it under there. So I remember calling my youngest grandson at the time, which is Zaire, and I said, Zaire, you won't believe this. Pawpaw is at the workshop, and you ought to see all of the toys that the elves have made. So I turned the camera around and start going through those toys, and all I heard was, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Bring it home with you, right?
It was so cute. It was so cute. He had to be 5 at the time, maybe, and there wasn't a toy that I didn't show him that he didn't say he wanted.
Oh, okay. Now tell us about this touring thing, because this is super cool that you do. It's very impressive.
So through Cherry Hill Photos, if I can say that, the Cherry Hill, I started working with them in 2019. So the first tour I went on with them was I spent 45 days at the mall at Prince George in Prince George County, Maryland. So after that, they said, we want to send you to multiple places so that people can get to experience what it's like to see a Santa that looks like them. So then they started sending me to multiple cities. So we've been to Denver, Denver, Nashville, Georgia, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Boston, Massachusetts, Florida, Michigan, Tennessee, just all over the place. So about every 2 days, I'm in a different city, and I absolutely love it.
Wow. So how does that, they just put you in hotels and you order food in? How does this all work? Like,
so
you work so much you never sleep? I don't know.
Well, no, we sleep. So and I also, by me being a photographer, I like to sightsee.
Oh.
times, if where I'm going is close enough, I'll request to drive,
Okay.
supposed to fly. So they'll let me drive to the location. I get to kind of sightsee, take pictures, take my time, that kind of thing. And then, if it's close enough and my wife's available, she'll come out and spend time with me. I know the year that we were in Atlanta, she brought the grandbabies down and they spent a whole week with me. So, so yeah, it's a joy to work with them and in that capacity. I love it. So yeah, so they'll just I'll have a place when I get to where I'm going, and I'll get there and check in and then go over to the mall to make sure the suit and I know where to go and all that kind of stuff. And it's just amazing. I absolutely love it. And I have followers everywhere.
Wow. I bet when this first happened, you felt like, wow, just to be offered this adventure, basically. It's very,
Yeah.
when you're being able to see and do what you want to do, and you're given the gift to be able to do that with so many children. It's crazy.
It is. And Sean, I guess what really motivates me, you all showed a picture during the intro of me and my little sister. This was the early 70s. And I think the next one was of my cousin that they took in the early 60s or late 50s when he was a child. And if you were to pull that picture back up, you'll notice that the Santa was not looking at the picture, was not looking at the camera. He was looking kind of a side view, and my sister and I were facing the camera. And my mom and dad had to pay money to bring that picture home, and all they wanted was a picture of their kids with Santa. So because of that picture, and then my cousin having the same picture, and then others, as you put up, having the same type of an experience, it was important for me to make sure that when kids came to see Santa, particularly those that look like me, had an experience that they could walk away with and say, wow, that was amazing. Like, and they can see the picture and be like, he's having fun, So that is really my motivation.
And I remember when you told me this, I just am floored. I never knew. I'm not surprised with the evil in the world and whatever, but I'm glad that you put those pictures on there. And I wanted to expose whatever you want to call it, because it's just not the way to be.
Yeah. And again, I was a child. I don't, I know the area that I'm in. So I'm from Southern Indiana, down by Louisville, Kentucky, which were both Confederate states. So I don't need to go any further with that.
Right.
With that being said, during that time, the 60s, 50s, 60s, 70s, there was a lot of segregation.
Yeah.
That went on. So, it is what it is. I can go down that rabbit hole and tell you many stories, but that's not even what this is all about. This is about the happiness and the joy that we share with children, regardless of their skin color, their intellectual abilities, or the physical abilities. Yeah. It's about the love and the care that we give to all children. And that is my absolute joy.
And what you told me was, because I have all kinds of children and all kinds, every kind of socioeconomic status that you could be. I mean, 3,000 children a day, it's going to be everybody with me too. But you said to me, you said that it doesn't matter to the child. They just see Santa. And I feel that too. I told you, I said, no, but the children are crawling all over me. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
Everywhere I've got group, and I always make sure that I notice that, because, and I take them, it's one of those moments. I'm like, thank you for whatever is going on here, because I love this and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because they don't care,
They really don't. All they see is the suit and the beard and the glasses, and it's Santa time. And normally I hear Santa before I see who's saying it, because they're way away from the set, and as soon as they see that big red coat, then it's Santa, and then you see kids just run. So it's the kids never, they don't care. The kids
They
don't.
don't. Yeah, that is amazing and so wonderful. So with that, I want this is to be this is a good lead in for your Santa Summit. If you would talk to us about what you have going
Oh,
on.
absolutely. So I am the vice president of the Santas of Color Coalition. So the group was started by a group of us who had been in the industry for a minute and had worked really hard to get a brand and to show professionalism and to invest in ourselves and in our clothing, in our clothing and in our performance, and building platforms for us to be able to work from. And we noticed a influx of people just buying Santa suits and putting them on. And this is just how things are. Unfortunately, normally if someone of color does something, then everybody gets painted with that broad brush that's how it is. So we wanted to be able to set ourselves apart and say, hey, look, that's not how we do business. This group does business this way. So we formed this coalition, and the mission is to professionally train and to educate Christmas performers to make sure they have insurance, they've been background checked, drug tested, that they know the do's and the don'ts of the business, that they know how to give an experience, not just a visit, that they know how to take a good picture, and that they know how to have good customer service. They know how to follow up and follow through with customers when they're calling and asking for them to visit. So it's a whole umbrella of how to be your best claws. We talk about everything from beard care to clothing to attitude. And obviously, our communities, when I say our communities, the Black community is quite different in terms of culture and language and things that go on a regular basis. How do you navigate those things when something is done or said or someone comes dressed inappropriately or not the way they should be for a picture with you, or want you to take a picture with them and it's not the best way to do it? So how do you address those things in a way that is not demeaning or degrading or making people feel like they're less than? So it's all about how to be your best claws and to give the best experience to every visitor that comes to the set, whether they're in their aching 80s or their their young 4-year-old child. How do you give them that? So that's what the Santa Coalition is all about. So with that being said, in August of this year, August the 29th, 30th, and 31st, it's the weekend before Labor Day. So everybody's off on Labor Day. It gives you an opportunity to travel home without having to take off work. We're having the Santa Summit and Boot Camp. And we call it a boot camp because we're going to do some training as opposed to just educating. So we want you to learn a skill, demonstrate the skill. We'll help reshape the skill so that you have it down and you have it down packed, so that when you leave with tools in your toolbox, that when you go out for 2025, you will be the best Santa and Mrs. Claus you've ever been, because you have the tools to give the experience and not just a visit.
Yep. And this is so important, because I remember when I first went to MAPS, Michigan Association of Professional Santas, to their group. I was invited. I Googled it. I found it. They invited me. But there was stuff that I had even thought about, like where you put your hands in a picture, wearing the gloves so your hands show where they're at. There all those things that there's a lot of information to learn. So this is wise for everyone, and everyone needs an education. I'm always preaching that anyways, because you do hear people say, I don't need to go to schools or whatever. And it's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. I know you have a big heart, but it takes more than that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I try to tell people, I know for me, it has never been about the money for me. It's nice that they give me some compensation for the time that I spend, but I would absolutely do this for free. And I have done it for free, and I do it for free. But with that being said, I always try to tell people who want to be a Claus, you have to find an internal reason for wanting to do what you do. So for me, it's about that faith, it's about that family, it's about that tradition, and it's about giving boys and girls an experience with Santa George that they don't get anywhere else.
Yeah.
That when they've left that 5-10 minutes, that hour session with me, it's like that was the most amazing time I've ever had in my whole entire life.
I 100% agree with you. And if I can give them, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and it took them away from reality and gave them some magical moments when I'm listening and talking with them and basically loving them, that's why I'm here, and that's what I do this for. So I totally understand. So do you have a lot of people signed up so far, or how's it going with this?
So it's going.
Okay.
We're really targeting. So first of all, this is for everybody.
Okay.
Mrs. Claus, elves, Santas. If you are a Christmas performer, we don't care if you're an aged performer and been in this for a while, if you're a mid-season performer and maybe been in it, 3, 4, 5 years, or if you're a novice, this is your first year, second year, or maybe you just want to come and see what it's like to hang out with a bunch of Santas and get your feet wet. This is the opportunity for you to come and explore the Santa universe. So we're going to have all kinds of classes. I'm going to be leading a storytelling class, and try to show you how easy it is to create a story when you're using stuff that you already know.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's why I use my family, because it's easy for me to start out with, it was 2019 of the COVID year, and something happened to all my famous reindeer. And right before the Christmas crunch, I had to get a brand new bunch. It was the night before Christmas at the North Pole. The snow had already fallen while temps dipped below. Elves in the workshop were busy as bees. They were decking out gifts. They were wrapping up gifts and decking out trees. Elf Z and Peanut loaded Santa's red sleigh. And that Maya and Sammy was full of laughter and play. Callie and Veve were dressing the dolls, and that Pepe and Layden, they painted toy cars. Mrs. Claus was busy mending Santa's red suit, tightening loose buttons and fixing the bells on my boots. I checked over my list. I checked over it twice because I had to know if you had been naughty or nice. And see, that's the stuff that we do. So it's easy for me to generate that story and have passion because I have a connection to the characters in it. And any Santa can do it. You just have to learn how. So if you come to the Santa Summit and go to that class, I'll teach you how to do it. We're going to talk about AI, which is the tool of the future, right, and how you should be using it in your Santa game, right? We're going to talk about branding and marketing. We're going to talk about clothes on a budget. We have a Mrs. Claus from Florida, Natasha Coley. Mrs. C is going to come, and she's going to tell us about clothing on a budget. And this girl can shop, and their outfits are amazing. So that's just something.
I know. I've seen her a long time ago. I was on a show with her, and she was talking about she made clothes out of curtains or something, or made something out of it. It was at the very beginning when I started going to shows. I was impressed because they were beautiful.
Yeah. She's something special.
Yeah. So you've got some really good people involved in this too.
Oh yeah.
Big experience. That's wonderful. So there's one other thing that we talked about that I was really intrigued by. When you were talking about all of your family be involved in your show, and I think specifically in Lansing, because I'm going to try to go to that this year so I can watch this. I am so intrigued. I'm number one, that your children, the older ones, will even do it, because I know a lot of kids that are like, you're embarrassing me or whatever, but your kids, they're like all into it. And this is lovely. So
Yeah.
so tell us about this. This is
So,
cool.
so Santa George and Friends LLC is actually Santa George and Kids and Grandkids LLC. So I am Santa. My wife is Mrs. Claus. Um, one of my grandsons plays Colorado Carl, which is a mascot costume. I have a son that plays the Grinch. We have two Grinches. We have the traditional Grinch that you see on TV, and then we have more of a baby Grinch that's more kid friendly, and we use that more than we do the other one just because we are entertaining kids and they're not as scared. So it's a really playful Grinch. Then we have Elf on the Shelf, which either one of my grandsons and or my older son will play. And then our daughters, they are our picture takers and our printers. And then Mrs. Claus kinds of, backgrounds to show and make sure everything runs perfect. Elf Z, which is my youngest grandson, we bought him a little pedal car, the little metal pedal car. So his part of the program is he rides in the pedal car and says, "Santa's coming, Santa's coming, Santa's coming." And then they'll put on my intro music and I'll come in. The kids will just go crazy. And we just have a fantastic and amazing time.
I love this so much. So where is the venue of this? Where is it?
So here in our local town, we do it at the Roots 101 African American Museum, where the summit is actually.
Yeah. Okay.
And then in Lansing, it depends on where they get the venue. So okay. I'll let you know where the venue is going to be in Lansing. But for the last 2 years, it was off the main drag strip there in a little strip mall. There's a venue there that they've had it. So I don't know if she's going to be there again this year or not. But she booked me last year for this year. So.
Okay. Yeah, I want to know definitely because there's no reason I want to come up and see this. As long as I don't have anything booked, but I'm going to try to get up there. Let's go through this real quick. Make sure we didn't miss anybody. We have, Mike, thanks for putting that on there. I'm a little slow. I get it now. Mike is so wonderful. When we need something, he's on it for research and things. Don says this brings back so many memories, both good and bad. I think that's when you were talking about your mom. David says he's late. Sorry, he's late. Looks like people are taking that link from Mike. Bill is. Ernie says, love the story. It's a bit similar to his own. Titus Lamont Hopper.
Yes.
All causes are welcome and all means all. Yeah. I would like to come to this. I've actually talked to Bruce, Dr. Bruce.
Yes.
And Mike and Betsy about coming. So I think it would be a blast. I'd love to meet Natasha in person too, if you know.
It's going to be awesome. So Santa Hop, is what we call him. So Dr. Titus Harper, he is actually our training director for the coalition. Okay. So he actually has a doctorate degree in education. Wow. So he actually helps us with our curriculum. So it is indeed top notch. Nice. So if you're on there to teach, you had to send in a syllabus to Dr. Hopper. He had to review it and approve it. So it has had professional eyes on it. So you're not just coming and getting any old thing. This is stuff that is being done by educators who know how to educate. So that's and thanks Hop for jumping on. We appreciate it.
He also put on the link. So if anybody's interested and wants to look into this, it's in the comments. So please do. Hello, Diane. Nice to have you on here. And Sal is on here. Yep, Sal's on here. And Betsy.
So real quick, Sean, also too, I'm doing 20 beard tips in 20 weeks. We've already gone through 6 weeks. We've gone through 6 weeks already. So we're talking about beard care. How do you get that amazing beard for 2025? And you see Santa's beard. It is a beard journey. So if you guys want to learn how to achieve an outstanding beard, you need to tune in to Santa George Smithers on Facebook. Go through, find those first 6 tips, And this week we'll be having another tip on Wednesday, which will be tip number 7. And we're going to walk you through how to get that amazing beard for 2025.
Nice. And they need to be working on it now, I would say, right?
I should have been working on it in January, but but better late than never. Sean, you are frozen.
There's just, well, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, you got frozen a little bit. I think you're back.
Okay. Yikes. Yeah. Take over. It does it. Oh, so close.
Any questions?
Okay. David, they posted the link in the comments. It's probably before yours, but maybe he can post it again. Titus, please. Won't hurt. And after the show, we can make a post too, so everybody can see all this information. Okay, let's see what else. You're just such an interesting person that there's so much to talk about. Okay, tell us about Beyond the Chair.
Oh my, I almost forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up. So myself and one of my friends, Santa Lincoln Crum, who's a local Santa, we actually grew up in the hometown. I'm older than he is. We went to the same high school. I graduated in 83. I think he graduated in 80 something. But anyway, long story short, in 2022, we met on Facebook, and lo and behold, we were both Santas. So we kind of met, we became friends. We've developed a wonderful relationship. We collab together on different projects all the time. One of the things we're doing this year that we'll actually be filming at the summit. So if you guys have never been in a documentary or might be thinking about getting in one, you want to be at this
nice.
Summit. Because we're going to be filming. So this Beyond the Chair is talking about Santa and what he does in his off season. So for example, Santa Lincoln feeds the hungry. So he always walks around with gift cards, and throughout the year, if he sees somebody that's food insecure or, ask him for food during Christmas or whatever, he gives them these gift cards. I'm a toy guy. My wife and I also are benevolent people. So we've put people up in hotels. We've helped out fire victims or flood victims, wherever folks need help. Santa and Mrs. Claus tries to be there. And I know our motto from me and my Mrs. Claus is that we will never leave a child or a person undervalued, underestimated, overlooked, or left out. That's what we intend to do as a Claus couple.
Nice. And same with not just the children, but the older folks that come up to us. I know that maybe not everybody pays attention to that, but when I work with Jeff, I have signals I can give him that we're not done yet with this family. And then he realizes there's grandma or whatever. And then we give that time if I notice, because that's kind of what I do is I pay attention to what's going on around us while he's talking so that I can signal him that granny in the wheelchair or whatever, we need to give her time because, and usually we look at each other with tears in our eyes many, many times for that. So,
and that's another unique thing about what I do because I am a man of faith, and I proclaim that and I wear that badge very proudly. I have visited with families who were on the brink of being put out of their home, and I've been able to, just whisper a prayer with them, and then slide them a little something. It doesn't heal the whole thing, but at least helps make that moment a little easier to go through. So we just love it. I know the other day, and I'll say this really quickly, the other day we was in Walgreens, we were getting our picture for our passports, and there was 2 little guys in there. They were trying to buy something. They had their little bags of coins, and they were counting through their coins. And I told the lady, I said, look, just tell them put the money away, put it on our tab. And they turn around like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, just put the stuff up there. She'll ring it up. She'll put it on our tab. You guys are good. So it's just little stuff like that I think makes an impact and makes the world a better place.
And it's not even just buying somebody. I mean, I love that. But like, um, what comes to mind when I'm listening is walking down an aisle at the grocery store, and there's an older lady that's short, and you can tell she needs something. So you just step out of, your quietness and ask her if she needs help, because people don't talk to each other and and that type of stuff. And usually you get a reaction of thankfulness and smiles, and so I totally understand that.
But that's what the Santa Heart's all about, right? It's not all about, you know, giving of something, but it's giving of self.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And all the time. I mean, kindness. I share stuff on Facebook all the time, and I do mean it. Everybody has a story. You never know what's going on. And, we just need to, you don't have to look like Santa or Mrs. Claus all the time, but you can be kind and do nice things. So I'll get off the soapbox for that. But, um, okay. Is there any other things that we didn't cover that you would like to talk about?
No, I think we've covered it. Just, guys, if you can make it to Louisville, Kentucky, I'm gonna make that pitch one more time. If you
Go
can
for
make
it.
it to Louisville, Kentucky, to the Derby City where we run the Kentucky Derby, um, to the Santa Summit and Boot Camp, I'm telling you, this will be a training you will not forget. It is going to be awesome. So www.santasofcolorcoalition.com. Santa Hop will put it in the um, chat again,
Yep.
and then Sean will list it too.
Yep.
But you can always follow Santa George Smithers on Facebook, or just put in Santa George Smithers, and anything I have will pop up. And just follow us there, and you'll find links. The hotels are ready to receive you. I am your host, Santa. I'm Mrs. Claus is the host, Mrs. Claus. We are ready to receive you, and we're looking for a fantastic time at the Santa Summit and Boot Camp 2025.
It's so wonderful. And I love it that all the credentials of education are involved in this, because it's a real deal.
Yeah.
It really, really is. So good for you guys. Um, okay, now since we've talked about some of our, I could talk to you for hours, and that's why I had you on the show, because I knew that you came up to me in Gatlinburg, and I was so excited because you got there late, or at a dinner. I don't even know when it was. It was so crazy. But I was so happy to see you. And you're always so easy to talk to. So I knew I had to have you on the show. So with that, I'm going to ask you some questions here real quick.
Sure.
Being Santa, what has that taught you?
To be patient,
Okay.
to be kind, to really think before you speak or act. It's about an awareness that I'm always being seen. Um, so definitely those lessons are there. And then it brings back to mind some of the things that my mom taught me as a child. She used to say to us, if you speak to a dog, he'll wag his tail. If you hang out with dogs, you'll get fleas. Just the little sayings that she dropped as we would go out the door to play. Birds of a feather flock together. You don't see a robin and a blue jay, you see two robins. So it was just those little seeds that she planted, that you have to be mindful of who you with, what's going on around you, and you can be painted with the brush that you don't intend to be painted with, because you're standing next to the wrong people. So all those things just come to mind as I think about being Santa and all those wonderful things. And then the last thing she would tell us, to keep us grounded, that a bird only flies so high, and sooner or later it has to come down. And the same faces you walked on going up are the ones you're going to pass on the way down. Treat everybody with dignity and respect, because you don't know when you might need them.
That's wonderful. Wonderful words. Okay, so what do you hope that your grandchildren remember from everything in life that you're showing them and they're seeing?
To be rooted in their faith. Don't be shaken from that. Don't be ashamed of who you are. Don't let people paint you in a box because the color of your skin or the place where you live, whether it's the mansion on the hill or the shanty in the woods. Those things don't define you. It's it's how you love people. It's how you treat people. It's how you present yourself. Those are the values that my wife and I are trying to pass on to our children and our grandchildren, and to keep them together and to love on each other. And to know that there's no greater gift than the gift of family when it's done right.
Yeah. Very lucky. Okay, one final word. Your advice for new performers. What would you tell them?
Again, it's not about the suit you wear. It's not about the beard you have. It's about your heart and how you are going to portray the Santa that you want to be. It's about giving and sharing and caring of self. It's not about the finance that you can make. It's nice that you'll get paid, but that's just the cream of the crop. The real joy is seeing a smiling face of a child, seeing an older person go back to their childhood when they see you, seeing a teenager come to you wanting to be mischievous when they see you, but as you begin to communicate with them and share with them, they just break down like a 2-year-old child again.
Because they want to be.
Yeah, those are the moments
Yep.
that make you the best Santa and Mrs. Claus or elf performer that you can be.
George, you are so wonderful, Santa George. I can't even. Your words are magical. Listening to you, and I can tell that you're doing so much good in the world, and you're touching hearts, and many more that don't even know it yet are going to be in your path. And I hope that they learn from you the magic to make the world a better place for sure. So thank you for being on the show today. I appreciate you very much. And tell your lovely wife hello, and maybe I'll get her on here sometime. That would be nice.
We'll make sure that happens. And
Okay.
And Sean, thank you so much for allowing us to come and just share a piece of our Claus journey with those who may be considering it or may have been in it for a while and maybe just got frustrated along the way. Hopefully we've said something, they've heard something tonight that'll put them back on the right track with that shining star and beacon light in their heart to be the best Santa that they can be.
And I want you to always know that my show, The Claus Connect, is always here for you and people that you're trying to do what you're doing. You guys, this is a voice. This is another way for you to get the word out there also. Always. We're here for you. So with that, I want to just say thank you. And I want to thank my wonderful producer, Angela, who's amazing and takes really good care of me. And I need a lot of it. So I appreciate it. And Bob for putting our pictures together for us. And all the wonderful people that are on here today. It looks like I will go real quick. Eric and Mo, hello. Thank you, Terry. I appreciate that. Oliver, Mike, you're wonderful. I miss Mike too. I haven't seen him in a while. So thank you all for being here. And thank you, TNL Network, for everything you do for the Claus Connect on the air. It's appreciated. And with that, I'm going to have my closing tagline, which is very important. Everything we do is for the children, the ones before us, beside us, and beyond us. So please, it's for the children, what we do. So thank you. With that, I'm going to say good night. Thank you, George, and stay on. We'll see you in the green room.
Sure.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye.